Accelerate project is a 4-year program funded by Bill and Melinda Gates. Its main objective is to accelerate varietal turnover in Africa, but in this phase we are starting with Tanzania. The aim is actually to develop a scalable model for accelerating varietal adoption of open-pollinated varieties, which include groundnuts, beans, and sorghum. We want to do this by linking formal and semi-formal seed systems to sources of demand, which are predominantly created by traders and development and humanitarian organizations.
It's a very unique project that brings together stakeholders from across the bean, sorghum, and groundnut value chains. And it's unique in the sense we brought in not only the regulators, the national programs, the CG, and then folks from industry who are very important in creating the demand that we want to see that will drive the adoption of climate-smart varieties of these crops.
We as TAD, we accelerate the adoption of varieties and adoption through developing improved varieties that are required by farmers and that have high market and that are climate resilience varieties. And also we accelerate the adoption of the released variety through providing the training. That means a capacity building to our farmers, extension officers, and other stakeholders, including the private companies and also traders.
We see ourselves that we can accelerate the turnover of the varieties of the crops, basically on working with smallholder farmers, because currently we are working with around 40,000 smallholder farmers, and we do this by working closely with them, especially on demonstrations, but also providing agricultural trainings to the smallholder farmers. So with this matter, what I see that we can accelerate the turnover of the values, of course the turnover of the crops that we are going to work with through these demonstration plots, training of farmers, but also buying direct from these smallholder farmers.
Coming to the case of open-pollinated varieties, in Tanzania we have the benefit of institutions which are supported by government to make sure that varieties reach every corner of the country. And my company in particular, in this case for OPVS, we have brought about an innovation to work with schools, both secondary schools and primary schools. Now, each village in Tanzania has a school, and working with schools provides an opportunity for each village to have a seed center if this case is successful. Now, in the school feeding programs in Tanzania, for example, parents are urged to contribute at least 40 kgs of maize and maybe 10 kgs of beans to the schools. Now, if we are successful in making schools the centers for dissemination of new technologies, particularly high nutrient bean varieties, it means that instead of parents each year contributing, then the schools can also contribute to providing these seeds to the community, and the parents will in turn now purchase new improved seed from the schools, which is an innovation that if it works properly will be very, very, very beneficial.
Informal seed systems continue to be the main supply of seeds, particularly for these open-pollinated varieties, and therefore we need to take advantage of this system to supply quality planting material for farmers. This will help to increase productivity and also increase access to these new varieties that eventually will transform farmers' livelihoods.
Jano Gololi has been doing quite well for quite a long time, so it's still leading in our portfolio. But the rose cocoa, why you see that now they're starting competing? As we tried it, we've tried in the market, and we found that the taste it's more palatable than the yellow, the Jano Gololi. So that's why you see on our production now we're actually focusing on the two brands as in they are competing. So the two brands are the ones who actually, I can say they are the ones who actually feeding and actually giving more profit.
You know, the Gates Foundation has invested a lot in developing new climate-smart varieties of many crops for many years, but we've seen adoption in some of the crops not being up to what we would like. And so this project is now meant to take those climate-smart varieties that have been bred and actually get them delivered at scale by connecting stakeholders across the value chains of the crops.
So once we've tested this in Tanzania, this model actually should be scalable across different crops and also across different countries in Africa and Asia.